What's up, Dr. Swole here. Today we're going to be talking about the most attractive qualities in men according to women. We interviewed hundreds of girls this year asking them about their likes and dislikes in men. I've compiled a list of 8 of the most common answers we got from girls. This is going to be really useful information for any guy who wants to improve his love life, and I want to stress that this will still apply if you are in a relationship. This is because what attracts a girl to you at the beginning is what's going to keep her attracted later on in the relationship. These are going to be in no particular order, and for some of them we're going to have to unpack exactly what the girls actually meant underneath it. The first trait, and probably the most common one, was ambition. Being ambitious is massively attractive to women because it's a sign that you're going to be successful later on. A guy who's really driven and pushing towards lofty goals is going to do way better than the guy who's just content sitting on his couch. I want to stress that ambition can come out in many ways. You can be ambitious, say, as an athlete, saying that you're going to become a world-class soccer player. You can be ambitious in your career, which is the one most people think about, and this is probably still the most important one. You could be ambitious in saying that you want to raise huge amounts of money for charity. Ultimately, a girl wants to be with a guy who's headed for the stars and is going to take her with him. In other words, they want to join you on an epic life journey. There are multiple benefits of being with an ambitious guy for girls. First of all, a guy who's ambitious in his career will likely achieve monetary success. This is important because financial success basically means security. And ultimately, it's in a woman's evolutionary interest to have security for herself and her children down the line. Being with an ambitious guy will also mean that at some point she's going to achieve a higher level of status in society and enjoy a more fun and relaxed life. A girl wants to show up to you with your work event and having you be the boss where everyone's paying their respects to you, rather than the guy who's getting ignored on the sidelines. From the fun perspective, when you're headed for the stars, she's just going to have that much more of a fun and textured life. In terms of what you can do about this one, I want you to dream big. The book The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone is a good example of this. Basically, whatever you're thinking of in terms of your goal, 10x it. Only by shooting for the highest levels of success are you actually going to realize them. And if you never have a vision for something great, you'll never get there. I want you to believe that you're going to achieve what you're setting out to. People will tell you that you're not good at math and you'll give it up forever, or that you'll never have what it takes to start your dream business. Kick all those opinions to the side and get out there and chase excellence. And get used to telling everyone about your big dreams. This will serve as a mechanism for accountability. When you voice your goals, you're committing yourself to them and staying on track. It's also going to draw a lot of positive people towards you, including girls. When you're on a date with a girl, tell her about your goals and your passions. Even though this might not be actual flirting, it will build a lot of attraction in her. Okay, the second attractive quality in men we're going to be talking about is that he has his life together. Girls want a guy who's conquering all fronts in his life and has things put together. When girls say this, they're mainly talking about your career and your lifestyle. Note that this is related but different to our last concept of ambition. Ambition is the base quality of you chasing excellence, but having your life together is more of a signal of the success that you're already achieving. For example, it was a big turnoff for girls if a guy was still living with his parents or if he was really stingy on dates. This may seem shallow, but it actually does make sense for a couple of reasons. First of all, a guy can say whatever he wants about how much money he makes, but ultimately his actions and his actual resources that he has speaks louder than words. Also, a girl wants to see you living a life that she could join and enjoy. Now, keep in mind that I'm not advocating for you to go spend a whole bunch of money on an expensive apartment and a nice car. But it is something to consider, and you want to set up your life in a way so that someday money is not going to be an issue. Alright, the third attractive trait in men, according to women, is a fit, athletic body. You'll see me showing pictures of different physiques to girls on my shorts and asking them what the most attractive body type is. The point I'm trying to prove here is that you don't need to be a massive geared up bodybuilder to be attracted to women. And in fact, girls aren't attracted to that really heavy set physique. There's this double standard in the fitness industry where guys feel like they need to be way more muscular than they actually need to be to attract women, and girls feel that they need to be way skinnier than they need to be to attract men. The broadest category of what girls said they liked was fit and athletic. Note that this encompasses a range of physiques. Some girls like guys who are a little bit bulkier, but keep in mind that the vast majority of girls preferred some muscle. Now, when girls said that they liked bulky guys, often they said they liked a guy who'd be able to throw them around, and ultimately having that muscle is a signal of physical power. So if you were to compare athletes from different sports, girls are typically going to be more attracted to guys who are from more power-based sports. For example, football, rugby, hockey. In terms of the body fat range, most girls are attracted to somewhere around 10 to 15% body fat. So they want you to have some abs, but you don't need to be absolutely shredded. Alright, the fourth quality that girls said was attractive was being funny. This is a bit of a complex one and one we need to unpack. The first one is that how funny a girl finds you is a reflection of your value. If a girl's really bought into you and thinks you're the best guy on earth, even if you say a terrible joke, she's still going to laugh at it. And this is something a lot of girls won't explicitly say when they tell you that they're attracted to a funny guy. When indirectly what they're saying is that they're attracted to a high value guy. Now there is intrinsic skill to being funny. What I'd recommend is spending some time studying improv and stand-up comedy. There are inherent structures to these forms of comedy that you can actually practice and get better at. Ultimately, you want to double down on your own brand of humor. Don't feel like you need to conform to someone else's style. There are going to be girls who are attracted to all different types of personalities. Now, the other component of humor is that when a guy's out there cracking jokes, it means that you're confident and relaxed. If a guy feels like a girl's way out of his league, he's not going to be as funny and confident as he usually is. What I want you to do is get used to having some playful and fun aspect to your personality at all times. What that means is trying to get people to smile and laugh with you no matter the context. Obviously, the kinds of jokes you make will be very dependent on the situation. But for example, currently I've been doing a lot of biopsies on patients, and when I'm in the room, I'll try and make them smile or laugh in some way. You'll find that humor is actually a really powerful skill that you can use in other relationships, friendships, and business as well. When people are relaxed and having fun with you, they're a lot more likely to comply with what you want and just deal with you generally. Fifth attractive trait we're going to talk about is a man having purpose. This again is similar to ambition, but is a little bit different. Ambition is basically you shooting for the highest levels of success, but purpose is more about the meaning behind that. I remember this story of sitting in one of my chemistry professor's offices after the course had finished. He knew I wanted med school, but he was trying to convince me to become a scientist. And his argument was that by doing scientific research, you can make more of an impact in the world. And I remember him always having this scowl on his face, and this particular time he was scowling at me across the desk and he said, "Bill, make a difference in this world. You're only on it once." And that quote was life-changing for me. I want you to think about the impact you're gonna have in the world. How can you have the most positive effect on as many lives as possible? This is ultimately the reason why I started this channel, was to help men like my younger self. And if you're a young guy feeling a little lost right now, and my videos inspire you to become a better man, then I've achieved my purpose. Girls like a guy who has purpose because it's a signal of integrity. When you're holding true to your mission, this is a reflection of your values. It makes you a lot more human and trustworthy. It also makes you a lot more interesting or captivating as a man. If you're an ambitious guy, but all you care about is just making money, you're going to be very flat or dimensionless as a guy, and girls are going to feel like they're just lacking that spark when they're with you. When you're on a date with a girl, you really want to flesh out your character and your mission with her. So get used to telling girls about your deeper purpose and what you want to achieve in the world. Alright, our sixth attractive quality in men today is loyalty. Being loyal is an important trait for anyone. From a girl's perspective, she wants a loyal man because it ultimately indicates security in the long term. If you aren't a loyal guy, at some point you might leave, and it doesn't matter how many resources you have to share with her because you're going to be gone. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. Keep in mind that when we talk about loyalty, it doesn't necessarily mean that she has to be the only girl from date one. Some guys will get this wrong by trying to signal things too strongly. If you try and be overly sweet and attentive from the beginning, you can actually turn her off because you will signal neediness. There was a girl who said that a guy asked her to marry him after knowing her for a week. This is a turn off because it tells her that you have low standards and indirectly says that you are of low value. Now, the ideal dynamic that you want is that you want her to feel special, but to know that you have options. Keep in mind that when we say that you have options, it doesn't mean that you're exercising those options. A girl wants to win over the guy that all other girls want. So your phone could be full of DMs and girls throwing themselves at you, but if you're not making moves on them, then you could still be very loyal in a relationship. Quality number 7 that girls find attractive is confidence. This might be the biggest one of all. What people don't realize is that confidence comes from competence. Think about a video game that you used to really like playing and how you would ace level 1 because you'd done it so many times. By building up that skill, you become very confident when you're playing level 1. This confidence, however, will also bleed in from other categories in your life. When you set out to achieve a goal and then you actually accomplish it, you're adding some unit of confidence to your overall personality. Only by repeating this process enough times in different categories in life are you going to really achieve true confidence. There are guys in the pickup artist industry who will try and tell you how to fake being confident. What I want to tell you is that ultimately you need to level yourself up as a man in all dimensions to really achieve confidence. Now, one other aspect of confidence is that it is contextual to some extent. While I do want you to become generally confident, there also is something about becoming contextually confident around beautiful women. For example, with that video game analogy, you're really confident playing level 1 of that game. But if I threw you into a totally different game, you wouldn't be so confident. The actionable point here is that I want you to get out and be social and spend time talking to pretty girls. You ideally want to set up your life in a way where there are girls around you. This way, when you talk to the one you actually like, you won't be so shy and nervous around her. Rounding out our list of attractive qualities in men is the protector dynamic. Girls want to be around a guy who is able to lead and make them feel safe. A good example of this, and one that I actually didn't really think about until doing these interviews, was chivalry. It was really common for girls to say that they like guys when they did things like opening the door for them or switching them over when you're walking down the sidewalk so the guy's on the outside. Gestures like this actually fall more into the protector dynamic. You're indirectly saying that you're going to take care of her and that she can feel safe around you. There are a lot of guys in the red pill sphere who take things too far and say that you can't do anything nice for women. They will argue that if you're trying to do too much for a girl, she's going to see you as lower value. What I want to point out here is that acts of chivalry and acts of generosity within a certain extent are actually different because they fall into the protector dynamic. When you're making a girl feel safe, this is actually a very high value trait, so don't be afraid of showing them. In terms of generosity, this can be a positive thing because again, it's in the protector dynamic. You're signaling that you're willing to take care of her. Now, what I want to point out here is that generosity has to be within reason and has to be within things that she's earned. If you're spending a lot of money buying her gifts, buying her flights, when she hasn't really done much for you, then this can show that you are lower value as a man and have lower standards. Alright, that rounds out our list of attractive qualities in men according to women. Which ones would you guys add to the list? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to level up as a man, check out this video where I share 10 habits ruining your life. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to transform your life, and we'll see you next time.